What's up, guys? How are you? Welcome to a Saturday morning episode of the Daily Juice Podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me across all of my socials at Sports Talk Matt. And we are back after back-to-back winning days. I got to correct myself. I actually had a winning day on Thursday. We went 2-0 on player props, not 0-2. So we were up, not a ton, but we were up. And we were up last night. Again, not a ton, but we were up. The Pelicans, they lose by 2. Boston, again, they fall to 6, 26-1 after a win against the spread. That is a crazy trend that the Boston Celtics are on. They won again. They beat the Pelicans. We got to fade them again coming up in their next game. So mark that down. Boston they're winning, but they're not covering big numbers. Pelicans come in. We win a unit there. We lose 2 of the 3 bets. The Stars win the hockey game, but Dartmouth does not cover basketball, and the Mavericks lost the game outright to the Pistons. So that failed, down a half a unit there. Player props wind up going 1-1. We get the Kevin Durant under right, but the Ty Jones over points does not come in. So we're down just a little bit, 0.05 on that. So a 2-2 day, up 0.45 units on a Friday night. So we have a winning week going, and we have a monster Saturday. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to give you 3 bets here today on the Daily Juice. Then I will talk to you coming up at 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern time. This is one of the biggest college basketball days of the entire season. We're going to go at our normal college football start time. When we were on with college football, we went 8 o'clock in the morning, 11 a.m. Eastern, to take you up to noon, which is the start time of most football games, but also some really big games, including Florida and Tennessee, which we'll break down coming up on the BettingPros Discord channel, bettingpros.com/chat, bettingpros.com/chat. Go and find the Matt Stages under the Daily Juice heading. That's where I will be at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern on the Discord channel. We will talk about Auburn and Ole Miss. We'll talk about Florida and Tennessee. We'll talk about Houston and Texas Tech. We'll talk about Marquette and UConn. We'll talk about Mississippi State and Missouri. We'll talk about Kentucky and Arkansas. We will give you picks and plays for all those games and more here. So at least 1 more play will be added to the card. Potentially 2 more plays will be added to the card. We could have as many as 5 games going. I want to watch a couple of games, a couple of line movements for some games I have my eye on that I want to watch a little bit here to see. But at least 4, maybe 5 plays for us here. If we go 0-5, it kills the week. But we've been doing fairly well in college basketball. Let's continue rolling. Okay, so 3 bets here and then 2 bets, 1 or 2 bets coming up later on today on the Discord channel chat at 11 Eastern on the Betting Pros Discord channel, bettingpros.com/chat. Okay, rivalry day. I'm huge into taking points when it comes to college basketball rivalries. There isn't a bigger college basketball rivalry than Duke and North Carolina. Couple of really interesting things. This coming from the Fayetteville Observer that I found last night, what I thought was pretty interesting. So Duke is a 13.5 point favorite at home against North Carolina. This is just the 8th time in the last 100 years of this matchup that the Tar Heels will carry at least 9 losses into their first matchup with Duke. UNC is 3-4 in those games, with each of the wins occurring back in Woolen Gym in Chapel Hill. The Tar Heels are still looking for their first win when they have 9 or more losses when they see Duke in Cameron Indoor Stadium. Since earning a 71-68 home victory against the Blue Devils in 1951, UNC has lost 4 straight games when facing this scenario. However, they, meaning North Carolina, have found different ways of keeping the game close. Overall, an unranked North Carolina team is 4-15 straight up against top 5 Duke teams when they play. However, North Carolina has won back-to-back games when they've been unranked and Duke has been ranked in the top 5. This rivalry is bitter. North Carolina has had all sorts of problems. They're 48th in offensive efficiency. Duke is 3rd in defensive efficiency. They are 91st in effective field goal percentage. Duke is 5th in effective defensive field goal percentage. North Carolina is 250th in three-point shooting, 62nd defensively for Duke. 2-point shooting. North Carolina is 55th, while Duke is 2nd. Duke's defense has been tremendous this season. I don't mind an underplay in this game, to be quite honest. But Duke's offense, led by Cooper Flagg, 6th in efficiency offensively, 24th in effective field goal percentage, 67th in three-point shooting, and 20th in two-point percentage. They hit their free throws 76.5%. That's 40th best in the country. So how does North Carolina do it? Well, RJ Davis has to do it. Okay? Bottom line, RJ Davis has to control tempo. Cadeau's got to hit big-time threes. They got to stay out of foul trouble. They got to turn the basketball over. They got to limit Cooper Flagg. Can't let Cooper Flagg go off for 30. If he does, they're going to get killed. But I've seen too many of these games. I've seen too many big-time rivalries. This is a 15-point win, according to KenPom. Again, you could say throw the records out. Duke is 18-2. North Carolina is already looking at who's going to be the next head coach next year. Hubert Davis is getting fired. 3 out of 4 games they've lost. North Carolina to Stanford, Wake Forest, and Pitt. The win over Boston College was a prayer at home in overtime, 102-96. I've seen some weird things. Duke either wins this game by 30 or North Carolina is going to be right there with a chance to win the game. I'm taking the points, okay? 13.5 points. It's just too many points in a rivalry game. Again, Duke could win by 30, but give me 13.5 points. I'll take North Carolina plus 13.5 here in a monster game in the ACC. Duke wins, Carolina covers. Bet number 2. Let's go to Arizona and Arizona State, another rivalry game. Look, I can't wait. These two teams do not like each other. These two teams always brawl with each other. And the number being 6.5 is pretty interesting to me, to be quite honest. Again, this is a pretty heavy number. 6.5 in a rivalry game. Arizona is really, they can be really good. But Arizona State's at home. This is Arizona on the road. This game will be passion-filled. How about that? The fan bases don't like each other, which I love getting involved in games where these teams don't like each other. This is a 1 p.m., this is a 10 a.m. Pacific time start. This is a morning start. Not good for the road team. Better for the team sleeping in their home beds, not the team getting up early in the morning. It's 1 a.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Eastern, but 10 a.m. start time. Rare on CBS because they want the national televised game. How these kids at Arizona State, they'll be up boozing early, which is going to be wild. This is a Big 12 game. Arizona is 8-1, 1 game back of Houston. Arizona State is 3-6, 6 games back, but they're coming off of a road win over Colorado. 3 straight wins for Arizona, 4 out of 5, and the overtime win over Iowa State is a monster win for them. Feather in their cap. Get to walk around. I love fading teams after they get a big win over a top 5 team. They think they're going to walk in there. They're going to walk all over the Sun Devils. They got no shot. We're going to kill them. Okay. In rivalry games, I like points. I also like fading teams that are inconsistent. They get huge wins in conference play that might be a little bit not as great as their record indicates. 8-1 in the Big 12. Are they better than Iowa State? Are they better than Texas Tech? I don't know. They're going to be tested here in this game. This is going to be a lot of fun to watch. I can't wait to watch this game. It's going to be tough on Arizona. This is a 4-point win, according to KenPom, over Arizona State. 3 straight wins over Oklahoma State, Colorado, and Iowa State. Here, 4-4. Arizona State at home, ATS. Arizona is 4-5 on the road, ATS. They're 6-4 versus 5-4, pretty much the same here. 11-9 versus 13-7. Arizona State's been very good on the road, but they lost their last home game to Iowa State badly. Before that, they lost to Central Florida. Time to start playing better at home. Last 2 games, they haven't won at home. Team's going to be really hungry to upset a rival. Take the points. Arizona State plus 6.5 for 1.1 units. And finally, the last play for the podcast. The Creighton Blue Jays are red hot. They've been red hot for a while. We were on Creighton in their last game. The Jays have covered 7 consecutive games. 8-1-1 over their last 10. They're 8-1-1 in conference, and they're catching 3 points on the road at Villanova. Villanova hasn't covered in 6 games. They're 0-5 over their last 5 games. Their last cover was against UConn at home when they were laying 1, and they won by 2. Coin flip. After that, they've lost 4 of 5. Their only win was over Providence. They were laying 9.5 at home, and they won by 2. Losses to St. John's, Xavier, Georgetown as a 7.5-point home favorite. Lost by 1. Last time out against Marquette, catching 9.5. They lost by 13. For the Creighton Blue Jays, they lost to Marquette, but they covered, and then they've won 6 straight. 4 over Butler, 20 over Providence, 5 over UConn on the road, 24 over DePaul on the road, 25 over Seton Hall at home, 9 over Xavier at home. The Jays have won and covered 4 consecutive road games. Sorry, they've covered in 4 consecutive road games. They've won 3 straight up road games, but they've covered 4 straight. I like betting streaks. There really isn't a hotter team in the country, ATS right now, than the Creighton Blue Jays with an 8-1-1 record in conference play, 4-6 for Villanova. I'm stunned at this number. 3? Circa's all the way to 3. Money's coming in here on the home favorite Nova. This is a 1-point win for Villanova, according to KenPom, 74-73. We get 2 points of value off KenPom with the +3. Maybe the pros are driving this thing up, but Ryan Kalkbrenner is playing so well right now, and I love what we are seeing out of the bench for the Jays. They're getting some real significant minutes off their bench. It's been huge. Guards. I really like the way the Jays are playing a lot. I think they win the game outright personally against Villanova, but I'll take the 3 points. Creighton +3 for 1.1 units. All right. Those are our first 3 bets for us here for the card. There's more coming on the Discord channel chat later today, 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. But for now, we're going North Carolina +13.5 against Duke. Creighton +3 on the road at Villanova. And Arizona State +6.5 at home against Arizona. 1 or 2 more plays to come later on today. Stay tuned for that. My name is Matt Perrault. Follow me across all my socials at Sports Talk Matt every morning, wherever you guys get your podcasts. It is the Daily Juice.